I am Haley, and this is a story of the most humiliating and satisfying day in my life that IT started in silence, the kind that presses against your ears before a storm breaks. Tiffany stood in the middle of the penthouse living room, arms crossed, perfectly manicured nails digging into her sleeves. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the city behind her, all glass and sunlight and money. Her eyes were blazing, sharp with something that wasn't love anymore. "My mom and sister will be here in an hour," she said flatly. "They don't like you. Make sure you're not here." No warning, no explanation, just a sentence designed to erase me from my own home. For a second, I honestly thought I misheard her. "I'm sorry, what?" I asked. She exhaled sharply, like my confusion inconvenienced her. Then she leaned down, grabbed a suitcase I didn't even realize she'd packed, and shoved it across the marble floor toward me. The wheels clattered, loud and disrespectful. "You heard me," she hissed. "This isn't about you anymore." Something in her tone told me this wasn't a fight. It was a verdict that I looked at the suitcase, then at her, then around the penthouse. The designer tiles, the art on the walls, the custom lighting she loved showing off on Instagram. And that's when the punchline landed. Here's the part she never thought about. I paid for that penthouse. Every square foot, every slab of marble, every absurdly overpriced designer fixture. She bragged about to her friends that MY name was the only one on the deed. Not hers, not her mother's, not her sister's, mine. The irony almost made me laugh. She was kicking me out of my own property, standing tall on a foundation she didn't own and never earned. I could have argued. I could have reminded her of the paperwork, the bank transfers, the contracts. I could have raised my voice. Instead, I smiled. "Okay," I said calmly. Her eyes flickered just for a moment. Confusion, surprise. She'd expected resistance. Tears, maybe, begging. She got compliance that I picked up my keys, zipped the suitcase without checking what was inside, and walked out without another word. No drama, no shouting. The elevator doors closed between us, sealing her victory, or so she thought. What Tiffany didn't know could fill a ledger. She didn't know I'd been quietly tracking her shady withdrawal for months, watching money move where it shouldn't. She didn't know I'd already called my head of security before she ever opened her mouth. And she definitely forgot one small detail, that MY security team doesn't take kindly to entitled guests. That by the time I reached the curb, my phone vibrated twice. Confirmations, green check marks, systems already in motion. She thought she won. But the game was just beginning. I stood there for a moment, staring up at the marble-in glass tower that carried my name on the legal documents and hers on the gossip pages. Funny how quickly people forget who built the life they're standing in. Tiffany hadn't lifted a finger to earn any of it. She was just exceptionally good at pretending she had. Across the street sat a quiet cafe with wide windows and a perfect view of the entrance. I crossed over, ordered a cappuccino, and chose a seat by the glass. Strategic positioning matters. I wrapped my hand around the warm cup, settled in, and waited 10 minutes later, right on schedule. A sleek black Mercedes slid up to the curb. Out stepped Mara, Tiffany's mother, draped in designer labels, sunglasses still on despite being indoors. Behind her came Kelsey, the sister, juggling shopping bags and attitude in equal measure. They walked like they owned the place, like the city owed them space. I watched them glide through the revolving doors without hesitation, entitlement doing all the work. Neither of them had the slightest idea what they were walking into. Dramatic irony is a beautiful thing. That I pulled out my phone and sent one message. "Let them enter. Wait for my call." The reply came instantly. "Understood." Devin had been on my payroll long, before Tiffany ever learned my coffee order. What they didn't know was this. Every room in that apartment had security audio. The penthouse had just been transferred into a trust. And legally speaking, they had zero claim to so much as a throw pillow. That I watched the elevator doors close behind them through the lobby cameras. I smiled, took a slow sip of my cappuccino, and hit record. The audio streamed live to my phone. I slipped on my headphones, leaned back in my chair, and listened calmly from across the street. The disrespect had been loud. Now it was time for consequences. I settled deeper into my chair as the audio feed came alive. Tiffany's voice crisp in my headphones, smug in a way that made my jaw tighten. "So you saw the text," she said. "He's out. You're both free to do whatever you want in here now." There it was. No hesitation. No guilt. Mara laughed first, sharp and pleased. About time. I told you not to marry down. I felt something cold slide through my chest. Men like him, she continued. Polite, quiet types. They're always hiding something. Kelsey chimed in, half amused, half impressed. Didn't he fund your entire app? And now you're kicking him out? Savage. They acknowledged everything I'd given and celebrated betrayal anyway. I could hear glass clinking, a bottle opening. Laughter echoed through my headphones, carefree and cruel. Cheers to the apartment, Mara said. It's all yours now, honey. I leaned forward in my chair, eyes drifting up to the penthouse windows glowing above the cafe. The life I built, lit up like a stage. MY phone buzzed, their opening wine. Relaxed, completely unaware. Good that I typed back calmly, give them 15 more minutes, then lock every exit. The apartment they thought was hers had always been under surveillance, under my name. And as of that morning, under legal lockdown, 15 minutes passed. Then Devin sent a signal. From where I sat, I couldn't hear the clicks, but I knew them. Every door in the apartment sealed shut at once. Silent magnetic locks engaging. The kind you don't muscle open. The kind that answer to one person only. I watched the mood shift through the windows. Movement turned sharp, erratic. Mara went to the front door. She paused, twisted the knob, tried again. Then she pulled harder. Nothing. Why isn't this opening? She snapped. Try the back, Tiffany said, her voice suddenly tight. Kelsey rushed to the balcony. It's sealed, she said. Louder now. What the hell? I tapped one command on my phone that a soft chime echoed to the apartment speakers. Welcome, uninvited guests. My voice said evenly. You've activated private lockdown mode. I watched their faces freeze on the monitor. Tiffany's mouth dropped open. What is this? This apartment isn't yours, Tiffany. I continued. Never was. Silence. You forgot something important, I said. This place is mine. I let you stay. I watched you betray me inside these walls. I paused deliberately. And now you're going to listen. My phone buzzed again. They're panicking. What's next? Truth, I replied. We start with that. Inside the penthouse, Mara began pacing. He's bluffing, she muttered. He's bluffing. But Tiffany wasn't buying it. I could hear it in her breathing. She'd seen that look in my eyes before, the calm one, the one that meant I was already 10 steps ahead. The lights dimmed. The massive living room screen flickered to life that a video began to play. IT was them. Hidden security footage from 2 nights earlier. Tiffany in my kitchen, whispering. Her mother leaning in close. Kelsey pouring wine like she already owned the place. He's too soft, Tiffany said on the screen. We get him out, change the locks, and the place is ours. Mara's recorded voice followed. You should have married a real man. Kelsey laughed. Once he's gone, we'll redecorate. This place has so much wasted potential. In the apartment, Tiffany screamed and ran to the screen, yanking at the cables. The video didn't stop. Backup battery. Always prepared. Did you think I didn't know? I said through the speakers. That I didn't hear every word, every plan. I took a slow sip of my espresso. This is my home. I continued calmly. And I protect what's mine. Let us out, Kelsey shouted, her voice cracking, but I didn't rush. I didn't raise my voice. I just sat there, listening. Finally calm, as the truth finished playing itself out. Tiffany stood frozen in front of the screen, all the color drained from her face. It was like her body hadn't caught up to what her mind already knew, that the ground beneath her had vanished. Behind her, Kelsey was banging on the apartment door now, fist slamming, voice sharp with panic instead of attitude. What did you do? She yelled. Open this. The locks didn't respond. They weren't ordinary locks. They were custom-installed biometric-coded fail-safe doors, expensive, discreet, designed for one thing only, control. Mara spun toward Tiffany, fury snapping into focus. You said he was a pushover, she hissed. You said he wouldn't fight back. Tiffany didn't answer. She couldn't. Her mouth open, but no sound came out. That I watched it all unfold on my phone screen. Calm as ever. The espresso in front of me was almost gone. I took one last sip and leaned forward. With a single swipe, I muted their screams. The cameras went silent, but the image stayed. They were still there, trapped not by walls or doors, but by the realization settling into their bones. They were standing inside a house they thought they owned, surrounded by proof that they never did. I turned the audio back on. An hour ago, I said evenly, "You told them to pack my things and get out." They all looked up instinctively, as if the walls themselves were listening. "Now it's your turn," I continued. "But here's the difference. You'll leave with nothing." They glanced around the apartment. My paintings, my furniture, my design choices, my name on every legal document tied to those walls that I smiled. "Let the countdown begin." A few seconds later, I gave Devin the signal. The locks disengaged with a soft mechanical hum. No alarms, no flashing lights, just quiet authority returning the space to its owner. Security moving immediately. Mara went first, still shouting about lawyers and connections as they guided her into the hallway. Her voice echoed, loud and desperate, until the elevator doors swallowed it whole. Power sounds different when it's gone. Kelsey tried one last stunt. Phone already up, live stream rolling. The moment she hit the lobby, the feed cut to black. Private building. Private rules. She stared at her screen in disbelief as she was escorted outside. Tiffany was last. She stood in the doorway, staring at the space like it betrayed her, like the walls and floors were supposed to be loyal to her simply because she claimed them long enough. She looked at me, not angry, not arrogant, afraid. "You planned this," she whispered. "No," I said quietly. "You planned it. I just stopped pretending." She took a step toward me. "We can fix this," she said, voice breaking. "You don't have to do this." I held her gaze. "You stopped being my wife the moment you told me I didn't belong in my own home." Devin's voice came through my phone. "Sir, shall we proceed?" I nodded once. And just like that, Tiffany was escorted out of the life she thought she owned. One final door closed behind her. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I'd ever heard. Devin reset the locks. One click, then another, like sealing a vault. Not to keep something precious in, but to keep something poisonous out. I walked through each room slowly, not searching, not grieving, just remembering. The echoes of arguments that never should have happened. The empty smiles. The warnings I ignored. The signs I explained away because it was easier than facing the truth. I stopped at the window. Same skyline. Different life. The city hadn't changed. I had the MY phone buzzed. A message from the building manager. Removal complete. Personal items boxed and delivered. "Let us know if you'd like to change interior codes." "Change everything," I replied. Devin handed me an envelope later that night. Inside was a notarized deed confirmation. The apartment had always been mine, legally, financially, but now, for the first time, it felt like it belonged to me. Not just because she was gone, because I had finally reclaimed myself. That I turned off the lights, stepped into my own peace, and as the door latched shut behind me, I smiled.